They did? Hi and welcome. It's the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's tonight on the Circle in Waco. Welcome in. Glad you're with us. Beautiful weather here in Central Texas. We've got a beautiful show for you this evening. Welcome to Rudy's, and let me introduce our first guest of the night, Baylor softball coach Glenn Moore, our first guest this evening. Welcome to you.
Thank you. Always good to be here.
Appreciate it. I think we owe you Rudy's for a couple of years, don't we?
Yeah, we're a little behind.
Yeah. You're not keeping track of that, are you?
Bring me up in here with all that great smell.
Yeah,
Run me out of here without feeding me.
No, we're gonna feed you tonight for sure.
No.
You are so thin. You absolutely are, as much as I am too. But we're glad you're here. We appreciate it. Got the season going off to a good start, and it's softball weather today, and this week's been beautiful.
Yeah, we had a great practice today. The girls are excited about the temperature. We were out in California, so we've had some good weather lately, and we need to keep that going because fans like good weather.
Sure, absolutely. Boy, this time of year, you have seen and you get anything, right? Anything and everything weather-wise.
Yeah, we've been pretty blessed overall. Last year we had the ice storm come through early on, had to cancel the whole tournament and move to South Louisiana to get some games in, so we've been pretty happy with that. And we've progressed this team pretty well and have the facilities certainly to work out in any weather conditions. You just can't play in any weather conditions. So it's been pretty nice this year.
Makes you really appreciate it. I know you always do. The Getterman Indoor Practice Facility. Gosh, what's that worth to you?
It's unbelievable. It's we make sure the girls realize that not everybody has that facility, and we're certainly blessed with a great Getterman Stadium and all weather sports turf and then the indoor and just a beautiful facility that we're very blessed with. Ted and Sue Getterman's donations to our program, and they've done so much for so many, and always indebted to them.
Yeah, appreciate that greatly. Don't we still have kind of on a regular basis administrators from other schools come through, look at our facilities, saw the indoor and the stadium, and kind of maybe work on one of their own like that?
Yeah, well, there's I always say that Ted and Sue Getterman raised the bar for softball programs across the country. So there's athletes, young women that are benefiting from the commitment that Baylor made, certainly because of the gift of the Getterman family to benefit years from now. But there's a lot of nice facilities around the country now, but the bar was raised here in Waco.
Yeah, very good. All right, you guys are 10-5 right now. How do you feel about the start of the season with so many new players, so many young players on your roster?
I love this team, John. It's a young team. Many of our starting lineups will be mostly sophomores, a few freshmen and a couple of juniors, and sometimes we'll have a senior out there. But it's a very young team. So with a young team, there's growing pains, and we've experienced some of those already. We've played some tough competition and some competition that we handled pretty easily like we should have, but we've made a lot of mistakes. So we've got a lot of growing up to do. And I always say that you don't get better playing teams you're better than. So we've scheduled some teams that are certainly better than us and know where we want to be, where we need to be. And we've competed in those games overall. We've had a couple of hiccups here and there and let a couple slip away that I'm not happy with, but I understand where we are as a team, and our youthfulness is going to take some time and some patience to grow into the team that we're capable of being.
Yeah, you never shy away from scheduling tough. Like Oregon was here. They were number 12 in the nation when they came in. You won that first game against Oregon, shut them out, in fact, and really played well that whole series.
We really did. We had every game we had opportunities to do some damage. Even the final game, the score was lopsided because of the final inning, but we went into the final inning tied 3-3, and we just you know, as a young team, I told the team that we weren't going to use the youthfulness as an excuse all year, so I want to refrain from doing that too much because it's time to grow up, and we will, and we are. But you know, you see that in situations like that where you're not able to stop the bleeding, and we've probably had 3 games where we've crashed a little bit on defense and weren't able to either have the leadership or the confidence to turn it around, and that'll take care of itself down the road. The more times you're in that situation, unless you like it, and good athletes and great team chemistry will stop that bleeding and turn it around.
Palm Springs tournament, Palm Springs, California last week, the Mary Nutter Classic, another ranked team in UCLA out there. And so, again, you've played a very, very tough schedule so far.
Yeah, well, we went out there, and going into it, I think we thought we should be at least 2-2 when we come out of it. We beat 2 teams that we should have beaten, and we lost 2 games that the majority of the softball world would say were teams that were better than us right now. But we competed in those 2 games, and we lost the one to Oregon State that we had in the palm of our hands. 7-run lead, I believe, in the 5th inning, and we let that one slip away. And bullpen couldn't pull us through in that. But again, we're growing this team up, and we've made mistakes that I don't think we'll duplicate throughout the year, and we'll learn from those. And we also made some roster adjustments and moved people around. So when it starts revealing the weaknesses and the struggles, and you find different ways of doing things. So we're looking at different, probably a little deeper into the season than we would expect normal teams to develop their starting lineup or even their starting defense. We're having to do that and go a little deeper into the season to do it. But we're also finding out more kids can do more things. So we have more versatility. We have 12, 13, 14 players that we may use every night and every game in some fashion. So the depth there is really good, and our offense looks extremely good. It's probably been the bright spot of our team as our offense.
Yeah. That Oregon State game, wasn't that when you kind of made some wholesale substitutions at one point?
Yes. Yeah, we kind of fell together and fell apart, and then we kind of revamped things and came back the next day with a little bit of different lineup and put some kids in positions that quite frankly, they haven't played a whole lot, but we stopped the bleeding and got a little more consistency with our defense. The challenge now is to find out how to work those kids into the strongest offense possible and still get your best defense. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge from a practice standpoint and developing those kids a little faster, because we weren't necessarily expecting to use Casey West at second base. She wasn't recruited for a second baseman, but she's she's an athlete and she can do that. And putting Emily Hott back in the outfield and letting her move back and forth, we have to have her in the lineup, but she's an athlete, so she can play in the outfield as well, and probably has played more outfield than infield anyway. So we just have to find the right combination to put our best group of 9 out on the field.
Good deal. Speaking of Casey West, we'll take a break and talk about her when we come back. She did something this past weekend that no player in Baylor softball history has ever done before. That's saying a lot, but we'll talk about that when we come back. Coach Glenn Moore, our guest on the Baylor Coaches Show tonight, talking Baylor softball. We're live at Rudy's, and we'll be right back after this. Back on our Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. Welcome back. Thanks to Rudy's. Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. Hey, rep your school in the Level Next Rocket League Spring Showcase. Compete to take home the championship and part of the $125,000 prize pool. Like this opportunity, food is too good to be wasted. With Hellman's, you can save more and waste less. Registration closes March 27th. Sign up now at levelnextesports.com. And we continue with Baylor softball coach Glenn Moore this evening. We got some good questions on the First Place Foods Ask the Coach list here from our audience here at Rudy's. And, Coach, we'll get you those questions in a moment, but we mentioned Casey West, freshman pitcher for you. She had not just a no-hitter, but a perfect game, first game of the doubleheader against Prairie View A&M this week.
Yes, she did. What an exciting night that was, and history was made. So those of you who aren't there, shame on you. You got to come out to Baylor softball and watch some softball. That was a beautiful night, and you get to see a great pitching performance. Softball in itself, pitching softball, we take for granted the difficulty of throwing a ball underhanded, making it rise, drop, curve, screwball, break, and change up. And Casey's a freshman. For her to come out and throw her first perfect game is pretty amazing. So very proud of her. Ironically, she told our trainer, Matt Pachowski, that she was going to throw a perfect game right before the game. So she called her own shot.
Wow.
Yes, she did. She called it, and she did it. So that's pretty impressive.
How about that? Is that her personality? Does she have that kind of,
swagger, confidence?
Yeah.
She's certainly a confident kid, but she would say that just having fun, I'm sure. But she's got confidence.
Yeah.
Certainly does. And I would say that's her personality, yes.
She may go out and say that before every time she pitches.
Yeah, that's
now.
right. If you say it every time, you're going to hit it.
We'll hear it every time. Were you surprised? I was, that it was the first perfect game in Baylor softball history.
Yes. We've kind of been known for being a pitching school. Coach Newman's done an outstanding job of developing that, and we've thrown a ton of no-hitters and an unbelievable number of one-hitters that were no-hitters going into the last inning that have slipped away. But I started thinking about it honestly in the fourth inning. We ended it in 5, and I was thinking, I don't know if we've ever done this before.
Wow.
And you don't want to say anything about it because the unwritten rule is not to jinx a no-hitter, certainly not a perfect game. And you start thinking, has anybody gotten on base? And then you count the number of outs, and we were at 4, 5, and 6 the last inning. And she had quite a few 3-ball counts that were really close to messing that up, but she came right back and got the batter. So, yeah, that was the first time, and that was pretty exciting.
It's rare, isn't it? I mean, you said you've had a bunch of no-hitters, but perfect games are just hard to do.
It's extremely rare, and it is extremely difficult. A no-hitter is extremely difficult, especially this day and age with the offenses we have out there when teams hitting, 70, 80 home runs a year, high batting averages now, the offense is in the game, so it's very, very difficult. And she didn't do it alone. She had 5 strikeouts. We played defense behind her and did some things that allowed her to get that. So it was certainly a team effort. Coach Newman called every pitch, so she was involved. Catchers have to catch them, but you still have to throw them, and the pitcher gets the credit for it. And no one's more deserving than that kid.
That's great. Casey West, a freshman, we mentioned, but just one of several. It seems like you've got a really good, deep staff you have right now.
We have 5 pitchers that will contribute to us, and that's unusual for us. It's hard to get 2 or 3 arms that are competitive enough, not competitive internally, but just from a competitive standpoint against good hitters to be able to use those. So I think throughout the year we have classified our 1-2 starter. Dari Orm will be our number 1, and then Aaliyah Benford's number 2, and then we'll use the next 3 as middle relievers and closers, much like you would in a baseball format. So we think all 5 pitchers will contribute.
How about that? That's good. Well, that leads us right into some of our First Place Foods. Ask the coach questions. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. Here's one from Roy Evans. Roy is right here, front and center. How many perfect games have you been associated with in your coaching career?
Well, I think I just answered that one. Apart from playing with Eddie Feiner, who threw many with the king in his court, outside of that on the collegiate level, I can't remember any. Quite a few, like I said, no hitters or one hitters, but I don't remember any perfect games. They're few and far between. I was telling John, I was looking back over some statistics, and I can't remember the year. 2 years back-to-back years. Just recently, there was 3 perfect games in one of the years and 4 in another nationwide.
Wow!
Out of all the games. Now there was another year where there were over 20, so that's kind of odd, but there's not many. It's so many things that can go wrong, especially when you play 7 innings and not a run-ruled game like we had the other day. So none that I can remember, and I have coached some great pitchers, as you know, not just here at Baylor, but Coach Newman was certainly one of the best I've ever seen pitch the game. So.
Very good. Good question, Roy. Thanks for that. Jolene, is it Eichenberg? Right here, Eichenberg. She says, what honors, talking about Coach Newman, what honors has pitching coach Brittany Sneed-Newman received?
Well, I don't have enough time to go through all of the honors that she's received, but I will make mention one very important one that's going to happen this June. She will be inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. So we're very excited. Yes.
That's great.
And it's very deserving. She was my pitcher at LSU, and she probably, if I have a name in softball, it was because of what Coach Newman did for me early in my career. So she was outstanding. If you want to see somebody that could wrap it around a batter and make it break and fall off the table, watch some old film of Brittany Newman, because she could throw it. She was special.
That's cool. Cy-Fair High School Hall of Fame, LSU Hall of Fame,
right.
And now the State of Louisiana Hall of Fame. That's
right.
Just tremendous. Very deserving for her. All right, another one of our questions, First Place Foods, Ask the Coach. It's from the Gold Guys. The Gold Guys are here today. Welcome to you guys. They're looking sharp. Do you have a gold jacket that would fit this guy? Maybe. Working on it. All right, good. The Gold Guys say, what's the biggest change that you made because of COVID that you plan to keep?
We don't want to keep anything associated with COVID. No, I would have to say probably the change that I like is we went from taking the team to eat at restaurants. We're small enough to do that, to go eat at restaurants, to eating more meals in the hotel and having them catered. So it's more expensive this way, but it has been nice for the girls from a studying standpoint to be able to get back and get more rest. So I think we'll do more of that. Outside of that, we were traveling in 2 buses, having to sit 2 seats apart, wearing masks. I can't find too many other things that I want to keep with the COVID year, but we certainly learned to appreciate what we had and appreciate the sport. So those things I hope stay around. Knowing that you can lose something that you can take for granted makes you more appreciative. So hopefully we'll keep that around. Good question.
Good question. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. First Place Foods, Ask the Coach. First Place Foods, that's a darn good pickle. Take a break. When we come back, more with Coach Glenn Moore, Baylor softball coach, headed on a pretty long road trip next week. We'll talk about that when we come back. Stay with us. It's the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. Thanks to Rudy's Real Texas Barbecue. And we'll be right back after this. Back with us on the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's. Thanks for being with us this evening. Coach Glenn Moore, our first guest this evening, Baylor softball coach. Hey, want to remind you, Baylor Scott and White Southwest Sports Medicine and Orthopedics health tip of the week. Staying home is one of the best ways to stay well and reduce the spread of COVID-19. Avoid contact with others. Unless you're coming to the Baylor Coaches Show, limit unnecessary trips and have groceries delivered. Find more tips at bswhealth.com/COVID-19. And Coach Moore, you back in action Saturday. You got a doubleheader against A&M Corpus Christi. Starts at noon at Getterman Stadium. Then the next week spring break. Is that right?
It is.
So next week is spring break. Why don't you plan a trip? Why don't you take the team on a trip for a tournament somewhere next week? Have you considered that?
Yeah, I think we'll take them to Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. Okay. Very nice.
And no, we do not need bat boys and bat girls.
I'm sure.
We have plenty of help.
Radio. You need somebody to do radio for you?
Radio. Yeah, we'll need radio.
Yeah, okay. I can't go. But but we got radio lined up for you out there. In fact, we tried to find someone to do radio from out there and found a Baylor guy. His name is Jim Oshiro, and he does the basketball or does the radio for Chaminade University. So he's going to do your games from Hawaii, and he is fired up about it.
Great.
That is pretty cool.
Look forward to bringing that back home.
Yeah, that'd be good. Who do you play? You got Cal.
Yeah, we start with 2 games. We'll actually play Hawaii on TV. We play Cal first and then Hawaii, and then we play Oklahoma. We play the Sooners out there. We'll step out of conference, play them, and then we finish with a game against Cal again on Friday. So 4 games. 4 games out there.
Oklahoma, y'all are kind of traveling the same circuit right now, aren't you? They were at Palm Springs.
They were out there, and, Hawaii will only take 1 team typically from a conference. So they ask if we would allow them and be willing to play them. And of course, you always want the RPI. You want to get better and play good teams, and we'll step out of conference and play Oklahoma one game.
But it will count as a non-conference game.
Correct.
Against OU.
That's correct.
Very good. So what's your philosophy on something like this? I mean, that's a great trip for your team, for your girls. I know it's a business trip. You want to win the games, but do you do a few other things while you're there?
Yeah, we do. And I do that with any trip. I just, we have the opportunity outside of taking care of business to give them an opportunity for an educational experience to see something they may not get to see otherwise. So we'll visit Pearl Harbor, and we'll do a luau while we're out there. But we're going out there to play, to compete and get better. So it is a big challenge. It's a distraction. Your time change is, significant. So I think Hawaii has a huge advantage in that tournament. So we've been out there. This will be my 5th trip to take a team out there. So I'm very blessed that Baylor will allow us to do this. It's great for recruiting, and quite a few schools will go out there and play. And to be able to tell your recruits that our school supports that trip as well, it's good for recruiting. So. Our focus is going to be competing, and we're going to have a little fun along the way. We won the tournament last time we were out there. It's kind of funny. I'll talk more to the girls about this, but, out of the 4 times we had been there, 3 previous, we had micromanaged everything from their sleep habits of 2 weeks out to their hydration to everything they did while they were out there, and we played poorly. And the last trip we went out there, I gave them their meal money, told them not to get in trouble and be there when the bus left to go to the games, and we won the tournament. So a little overcoaching for the previous 3. So we're going to do it the way we did the first time and see if it works out again.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you have the same results out there. What's is University of Hawaii is the host? What's their facility like out there?
I mean, it's adequate. It's nothing special. They you recruit Hawaii to Hawaii.
True.
You get to come to Hawaii. So I don't think it's not comparable to Getterman, but not a whole lot of facilities are.
And that's the place. Have you been in their basketball facility?
I've been not in it. Not in it.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
That's the one that's a carbon copy of the Farrell Center. Yeah, it's unbelievable. If you see a game from there, it looks just like you're in the Farrell Center. Pretty amazing. Well, that'll be a good trip. Very good, and hope you have success on the diamond in those 4 games. After that, back it's spring break next week, so they're not missing any classes. Then you come back. What's the schedule look like beyond that?
Oh, John, you threw me a curve. I know we have Texas State, McNeese State coming up.
Okay.
I think Texas State in the middle of the week, and then we have McNeese State for a big weekend here in athletics, multiple sports and activities going on. Baseball has something going on, and I think we have a lot of fanfare that weekend.
Yeah. That'll be great. That'll be fun. But that's next time you're back home after this weekend. You got A&M Corpus Christi here this weekend.
A&M Corpus Christi and then Hawaii. Yep.
Yeah, very good. Well, have a good trip. Hope it's great. Hope you have great success out there. One other thing, in doing the Oregon game on TV, we had a shot into your dugout several times, and it looks like a kind of a Mardi Gras-like chain, beads, BU pendant hanging in the dugout. What is that?
Well, it's what is defense in football when they get an interception? They have the bling. I think that's where it came from.
Chain.
I haven't asked the question, so it's for home runs. So I'm hoping we wear it often.
It's a home run
it's
chain.
It's a home run
then,
chain.
Huh?
I believe I'm correct in saying that. So hopefully we put it around
I
quite a
got
few
you.
necks.
Does it travel, or does it stay just at Gettysburg?
It does
Stadium?
travel.
All right.
It goes with us.
All
I
right,
think
very good.
Ashlyn Walkendorf is responsible for that chain. I'm not exactly sure. Like I said, some of the things that go on when you coach a program like I do, you don't ask questions, you just enjoy the ride. But this team has a lot of fun, and I'm enjoying this team tremendously. So I love when they're smiling. If that makes them smile, makes them hit more home runs, I'm all for it.
Very good. Hope you wear it out this weekend and the rest of the season. Glenn, thanks for being with us. Glenn Moore, Baylor softball coach.
Thanks for having me.
His 22nd season as head coach here at Baylor. Take a break. We'll shift gears. Scott Drew joins us when we come back. Stay with us. This is the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's, and we'll be right back. And back with us live from Rudy's. Let's switch gears here, bottom of the hour. Thanks to Coach Glenn Moore, who is with us. And let's welcome in the coach of the defending Big 12 and national champion Baylor Bears, Coach Scott Drew. Welcome to you.
Well, thank you very much. So, you know, Glenn Moore is an unbelievable person, a great coach. But I don't know about his fishing skills, right? So we got a 7-footer visiting, a USA basketball player. He says, hey, come out to my lake. You guys will catch a ton of fish. You'll have a great time. You'll want to commit. So we go out there. We spend 3 hours on the lake. We don't catch one fish. Obviously, the kid doesn't commit. So I don't know if those are fish stories or you're just taking them fake pictures. You got fish in that lake or what's going on, Coach Moore?
You lost a recruit because of the fishing, the lack of catching.
Well, Coach Moore said it was the guide.
Oh, I got you. Very good. All right, we're going to have to get him back out there. I've seen the pictures. I don't know how he's doing it, but he has the pictures for sure. Welcome to you. Thanks for being here tonight.
Well, thanks for having me.
How's the week? 2 weeks in a row, Monday night games. It's tough, the Saturday to Monday turnaround, but after Monday, you get a little break before your next game.
Well, and the great thing is it gives you an opportunity to go recruiting on Tuesday, let your guys get a chance to get their legs back under them Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously you get back after today and Friday and get ready for Saturday. But we found some good motivation for them when they get 2 days off of practice.
Yeah.
They really play hard, with the win, of course. Yeah.
After a win, which you had a win over Texas on Monday. Congratulations on that. Well, that was great to go down to Austin. Full house in Austin, last men's basketball game in the Irwin Center. I mean, they were ready. They fired their best shot at you.
Well, that was definitely the loudest it's ever been that we've been down there, and Coach Beard does an unbelievable job with game management, and I don't know, maybe it was the $3 beers that got everyone excited, but it was loud, and that history that we talk about though is so important.
Yeah.
And before the Irwin Center, it was the Gregory Center.
Oh yeah.
The last game was Baylor, Texas, and Baylor won.
Baylor won 72-70. That's right.
And then you go to Floyd Casey Stadium.
That's
the last game, Baylor, Texas.
That's
Baylor
right.
won
30-10.
Heart of Texas Coliseum.
The last game, win over Texas.
Baylor, Texas. Baylor won. So I mean, the stars had aligned.
Oh.
I mean, we couldn't let people down.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, Haller made sure we knew about the last game at Gregory Gym, which was a Baylor win. So well done. There's a good series history there. I appreciate that. That is fun. And, gosh, you guys are now in a position with TCU beating Kansas on Tuesday night. You're actually in first place alone right now in the Big 12 standings, but with a win over Iowa State, you're going to have at least a share of a second straight Big 12 title.
Yeah, well, I never cheered so hard for TCU than the other night, but I did text Coach Dixon. I said, after the win, I got you and your wife a great dinner. And
yeah.
He texts us after the game. My wife's excited about the dinner. And they played at night, right? So I'm like, well, wait a minute here. You win tonight, you get dinner, dessert, movie. We throw in a combo deal. So anyway, but obviously exciting for us and sets up Saturday.
Yeah, he talked about that on his coach's show this week.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, that you were texting. You gave him some pretty good motivation. So nice win there. And for you guys, I mean, nothing's done yet. You got to beat Iowa State to claim at least a share of the title.
By the way, it's amazing what coaches will do for dinner at Rudy's.
It's great.
Go
Bring
out and
them
beat
on.
Kansas to get dinner at Rudy's.
That's great. We'll fix him up for sure. Big game against Iowa State on Saturday. Senior Day. Again, a chance to claim at least a share of the Big 12 title with a win.
Well, and that's why, Senior Day, you always want to, as a coach, you always get extra nervous because you really want the last memory for the seniors to be a good one. And now, obviously, you're playing for a little bit more than just seniors and having a good memory. So a lot at stake, but it's exciting. We're in the Farrell Center. The crowds have been tremendous all year, giving us a great home court advantage, and we're going to need that Saturday because Iowa State, up until this last loss, they'd won 4 in a row, and obviously a top 25 team for a reason.
Yeah. Boy, you talk about the crowds. We have had some great crowds, great atmospheres, all-time record crowd for the Kansas game last Saturday. I mean, kudos to our fans. It has been great.
No question, and I say this on the post game with you, and that is, everybody loves winning, and the fans that come affect winning.
Yeah.
And we get down 16-4, and the fans were they wouldn't let us not be able to put our best foot forward the rest of the game. And when our guys, because we got a shortened bench, get tired, the fans really help you persevere through that. So you make a big difference in games. So again, you affect it by being there. So we can't thank you enough. It's a team effort. So appreciate you. The only thing I'll tell you is drink a lot of Coke or Dr. Pepper, caffeine before the games, just so that the officials can hear you.
Highly caffeinated for sure. Senior Day. So how are we going to do this year? I mean, who senior-wise? How are you going to recognize? Guys will have a choice to maybe come back, even if we recognize them as seniors.
So it's a different thing for all coaches and programs right now, but I guess the kind of common theme or trend right now is you're having Senior Day, and then after that, let seniors find out what kind of NBA feedback or professional opportunities they have, and then at that point a choice is made, and either they come back if we want them back, they want to come back, and or they turn professional if that's what they want to do. So really we spend probably more time recruiting than ever following our last game until you know what people are doing professional-wise.
Yeah, interesting. All right, it'll be fun. Senior Day, Saturday, 5 o'clock tip-off in the Farrell Center. Hope for a great crowd again.
So a great chant for seniors is one more year. One more year, all right? Remember that.
Keep that in mind. Let's hear that on Saturday. Let's take a break. We got lots of questions from our audience here. We'll run through some of these when we come back. Coach Scott Drew, our guest on the Baylor Coaches Show, live from Rudy's, and we'll be right back after this. You're back with us live from Rudy's on the Circle in Waco. It's the Baylor Coaches Show tonight. Coach Scott Drew, our guest this evening. We appreciate Coach Glenn Moore, Baylor softball coach, who was with us the first half hour tonight. Coach, we've got a really good crowd here at Rudy's. Thank you, folks, for being here. We talked about the crowds in the Farrell Center, but it's here at Rudy's as well, and we appreciate everyone that is here, and some of them have some questions for you. It is the First Place Foods Ask the Coach, brought to you by First Place Foods. That's a darn good pickle. You ready for some questions?
Fire away.
All right, here we go from Tom Gutierrez. Where's Tom? Tom is right there, all right? Tom wearing the Chosen T-shirt. I like that. Tom says, Coach Drew, in their 6:30 Bible class today, the culture of joy was brought up. After prayer at the end of every game at center court, you guys circle up in prayer. Have you guys ever been denied or interrupted with that post-game prayer?
Well, first of all, 6:30 a.m. Not a lot of joy going on in my household at 6:30 a.m. But you know, that's really been a blessing. Being able to, and in years past, we've been able to pray with different teams too, because we always invite them. But we've never been interrupted, and it's something that actually some fans, as you walk out, or will comment when you see them whenever you're in their cities or whatever. Love how you guys pray after the game. So, but that's been a blessing.
Yeah, that's good. Good question. And I mean, you guys do it win or lose, home or away, anywhere, everywhere you are. I mean, it's become a staple, really, of one of the first things you do after the game.
Well, I mean, we start pregame, we start practices, so it's just something we do before practice, after practice.
One of the great pictures from Lucas Oil Stadium after the national championship is the team together kneeling down in prayer. That's a classic. I mean, that is a classic picture.
Might be my all-time favorite picture, and the great thing is normally the cameras always go to the next game, but there was no next game. When you're the last game, you're the last game.
That's right. That is great. Tom, good question. Thank you very much. All right, here's a question from Sarah. Where is Sarah? Asking the question. All right, good one. She says, what kind of impact will the Pavilion have on your recruiting in the years to come?
Well, that's going to have a huge impact. And first of all, it's kind of like a new car, a new house, especially 18 to 22-year-olds. They love new things. And besides the efficiency of it and being able to attract recruits, it's going to be a lot more practical in ways that we can do things in practice, in off-season, and games, because the Farrell Center is a great home court advantage, but the Pavilion will be that much better. You look at like Houston. I just saw they were on TV, and they're a smaller arena. SMU, who's on TV right now, smaller arena. Texas is going to a smaller arena, and at the end of the day, Duke is one of the toughest places to play because it's one of the smaller arenas, and you want to have a compact environment, and that way the other team can hear you, the officials can hear you, and then your team can hear you cheering them on. So it's a good thing all around.
Yeah, and that's by design. I mean, you had a lot of input there in the size of it, where the students are going to be. I mean, you're going to make it so it's optimal for the best home court advantage you can have.
Because we all like winning. So, and the seats will be nice and comfortable too, so we'll be good.
All right.
And better Wi-Fi, I heard.
Gold guy. Oh, really? That's good. Gold guys will be there, no question about it. Here's a question from the Gold guys. This is good. What did Jeremy Sohan's hair look like when you first met him?
Well, it's been so many different hairstyles. I don't even know if I can go back to the first one. All I know is when at the beginning of the year he was 6'10 and a half, and now that he's shaved, he's down to 6'8 and a half. So I did actually like the 6'10 and a half. In fact, Flo had his hair out the other day, and he was 7'1". I was like, Flo, that's not bad. I mean, I'm just trying to keep my hair.
So, you guys chart everything, in the analytics. Have we figured out which hairstyle is the best for Jeremy and best for the team?
Oh, I mean, the mean green machine.
Yeah, the mean green.
So we're keeping that.
That's a good look for him. That's good. What a great guy. I mean, those freshmen, I mean, they have just come in and been such great contributors, and what a great attitude they've had coming in.
But both of them are extremely coachable, want to get better, and have really bought into Baylor University. And a lot of times you have freshmen that come in that are highly touted, that are more concerned with where they're going to play next year and not where they're playing now. And these guys really love Baylor and have done a great job.
Yeah. Jeremy and Kendall, and then Langston Love, of course, would be out there. Boy, would he be a real contributor right now.
Well, we have a couple that be real contributors right now that are on the bench. Yeah. So, anyway, the good thing is Dave's training room, we have enough tables for everyone, but I told him he's getting nobody else.
Nobody else. That's true. All right. Another question from Scott Van Kelly. Scott is here somewhere. I saw him coming in a minute. There he is, right back there. Hey, Scott. Good to see you. His question is, how hard has it been to make adjustments due to the injuries?
Well, I tell you, the injuries that like when Langston's out for the year, John's now out for the year, you can plan. It's the ones that you don't know if players are going to be able to play until game time or the day of a game, and those are a little trickier because obviously your rotations, what you want to run and do defensively and offensively, are predicated on that. So, and what advantages you want to take like, hey, we can go smaller here, and we can really take advantage of their wing or their big, and that makes it harder. The good thing is, knock on wood, everyone's been healthy for 2 weeks. So we need to keep that, and please keep that in your prayers.
Yeah.
So.
The Magnificent Seven is what you have now, the Magnificent Seven. And I tell you what, with Jonathan's injury, just what a great guy, and my heart just broke when I saw that injury and season-ending injury for him.
And John is our our team obviously just loves him. But like what's great about John is he's getting up at 6 o'clock doing rehab every day. Today we had a scouting report, and he gave the scouting report on Iowa State's bigs.
He did.
Trying to, how can I help the team? What can I do to help? So he's just a special young man.
Good. Anything new you can share with L.J. Cryer?
No, hopefully he keeps getting better, and we just put that in God's hands. And until that time, hopefully the 7 don't get injured that are playing. And then Jordan and Zach have really done a great job in practice and staying ready if they're called upon. So, and then their attitudes have been outstanding as well. A lot of times when players aren't playing, that we call it it's like a tug of war. You want everyone on that rope pulling the right direction, and sometimes when you're not playing or getting your way or whatnot, not getting enough shots up, you can be there, but you're not really there, you know. And this group is really all bought in, and right now there's a lot on the line. Chance for a 1 seed, chance to stay in Texas in the NCAA tournament, chance for a conference championship. So we'll just keep trying to go 1-0 each and every day and see what happens.
That's great. All right. Let's take a break. Back with more with Coach Scott Drew. In a moment, it's the Baylor Coaches Show live from Rudy's, and we'll be right back after this. Back with this final segment with Coach Scott Drew tonight on the Baylor Coaches Show. Coach, we really appreciate you being here in season. I know you got a lot going on. You got practice completed earlier today. Did you really give the team did you give them 2 full days off, Tuesday and Wednesday?
When you win, Saturday, Monday, you get 2 days off.
When you win, everybody wins. That's good. That was good because this time of year, don't you even shorten practices sometime because you don't want to overdo it?
You got to have fresh legs this time of year. You don't want to get guys injured this time of year. And then the other thing is, most of our guys come in every day and shoot, get a workout, lift extra with Charlie. So there is really no days off if you want to be good in anything.
Yeah.
But
so even if it's an official day off, those guys are probably up there getting some shots up. And how about the job that Dave Snyder has done as your trainer and Charlie Melton continues to do as your strength and conditioning coach?
It takes a team to win, and administration, fans, Charlie, Dave. Charlie's best strength coach in the country. Dave's the busiest trainer.
Way too busy.
And the best in the country. So
Very good. Yeah, appreciate those guys a great deal. All right, we have one other question that was added to our list here. It's the First Place Foods Ask the Coach question. and it's from Anonymous. I'm not sure who it's from, but Coach, it is, who is the best dove hunter that is here tonight? Is it Eric Sharrow? Is it Dr. Jim Morton? Or is it you? Who is the best dove hunter?
Well, you know, when they land, I'm really good at shooting them. But I would say my little man Peyton just walked out. So I might have to give him a shout-out. But anyway, Doc Morton can really shoot. So if you ever like eating dove, he's the man.
Nice. Very good. All right, we got you guys there. We got you pegged back there at the back table.
Eric, you're not bad either, okay?
How do you don't do that in season, do you? Do you have time to do that?
No. In fact, I know sometimes we lose a game and people want to go dove hunt with me to shoot me. But
that would not be good. Not be good at all. All right, Iowa State comes in on Saturday. We talked about everything that's every game is important. This one, not any less important than any others, but with a win, you have at least a share of the Big 12 championship. Going to send the seniors out in the right way. More often than not, lately, our senior days have been very, very good.
Well, hopefully we can keep that going.
Yeah.
And then if you come to the game at the end, we always allow the seniors to have a chance to talk, and they do a great job with that usually.
Yeah, that's very good. It's very meaningful, and you guys do it so very, very well. And Iowa State, man, like you said, they were rolling. They'd won 4 straight and somehow lost at home on their senior night last night to Oklahoma State.
Well, that's why there's parity in college basketball, and each and every night you never know. So you got to be ready, and it is March, and it's March Madness for a reason.
Yeah.
So just make sure that we're all praying for the Bears all Saturday.
You mentioned the possibility of a number 1 seed, and you're certainly right in the mix for that. How much time do you spend? What's there are obvious benefits to being a number 1 seed, but in your mind, how important is that?
Well, first and foremost, this year it's bigger than ever because you have a chance to be in Fort Worth and a chance to be in San Antonio, and to not leave the state and have a chance to go to a Final Four is huge. So that's something that excites you and makes you want to play that much harder because we understand how crowds impact winning and losing, and being close allows our fans to be there.
Yeah. You're right there, don't you think? I mean, with all the analytics, there's so much floating around, but don't you think you're right there?
Well, I think we won the most Quad 1 games, and I believe we're 2 on Joe Lenardi's, 3 on the last net rating that I heard. But, again, you got to control what you can control, and we have a game on Saturday.
Yeah.
The best thing we can keep doing is winning, and let God decide the rest.
Very good. All right, it's Iowa State coming up on Saturday. It's interesting, isn't it, the schedule? You started conference play on January 1st in Ames, Iowa. and remember that game? You were 12-0, and they were 12-0. It was a top 10 matchup. Does that seem like just eons ago when you started league play?
Well, and that was actually, at the time, I think the first Big 12 game to ever have 2 undefeated teams face off.
Yeah.
So I know that was, I think we played Kansas when we were undefeated and they'd lost 1 or something. But for both of us to be undefeated, that was, and you watch film and you look back. I mean, Jeremy, that was 4 hairstyles ago. I mean, I recognize the guy. And then, but it's amazing how far your team has grown and how their team has grown and changed as well, because you change throughout the year. You're constantly adapting, growing, and trying to improve.
Yeah, boy, it's going to be tough. So you started conference play in Ames against Iowa State. You end the regular season against Iowa State in the Farrell Center.
The only difference is they gave us 3 degrees and negative 20 wind chill.
Yeah.
We give them 73 and sunny.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean,
They're getting the better end of the deal weather-wise. Well, we appreciate you being here. Congratulations on what you've already accomplished this year, and there's still a long way to go. We're just now entering March, but congratulations on the season and the way you guys have maneuvered this team with all the injuries. And look at what you're doing. You're still winning at a very high level, so congratulations on that.
Well, we've been blessed, and again, couldn't do it without the fans. So thank you guys very much for helping us get here.
Very nice. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Coach Scott Drew, our guest on the Baylor Coaches Show. Let's take a break. We'll be back and wrap things up right after this. Wrap things up on tonight's Baylor Coaches Show. A look at our upcoming schedule of Baylor events. Baylor baseball is down in Houston, the Shriners Hospitals for Children College Classic. They'll play UCLA on Friday, Tennessee on Saturday, and LSU on Sunday evening. Equestrians on the West Coast, they'll compete against Fresno State on Friday and UC Davis on Saturday. Of course, men's basketball we mentioned versus Iowa State, 5 o'clock Saturday in the Farrell Center. Women's basketball closes the regular season at home Sunday against Texas Tech. They are Big 12 champions this year. Thanks to Coach Moore and Coach Drew, our guest. And for now, good night from Rudy's. All right, Jake, thank you very much.
This has been an exclusive presentation from Learfield.
Recording? All good? Thanks. Jigger, thanks very much. All right, here we go. Here we go. Coming in 3, 2, 1. Hi, everybody. I'm John Morris with Coach Scott Drew on the set of the Baylor Coaches Show here in Waco. And, Coach, we want to talk to you about your new book, The Road to Joy, Leading with Faith, Playing with Purpose, and Leaving a Legacy. Really excited to get my hands on this book and read about it. Tell us about the culture of joy you've instilled here at Baylor. What's that meant to you and your basketball program?
Well, first and foremost, when our staff arrived at Baylor, we've always had a Christ-centered program, and everything that we've done is revolved around Him and His Word. And it's a blessing to be at a university where you can prepare champions for life, where it's spiritual, it's character formation, it's academic, and it's athletics. But with that, you always try to improve as a coach, and I think Tony Dungy used it. Dabo Sweeney took it from him, and we took it from them. It's an easy way for guys to remember playing with joy, Jesus, others, yourself. Yeah. And I think when you're having the right priorities, obviously life's a lot easier, and it's an easier way for us to state what we've done and something that we can all remember and use.
Such a huge platform you had and took advantage of, winning the national championship last year. Culture of Joy. Everyone knew about it. Everybody was talking about it.
Well, and again, it's God's platform. People asked, did you always want to write a book? And my dad always wanted to write a book. And in fact, he wrote one, and they're all in our basement still. So if anyone wants a copy, they're all there. But I never really wanted to write one, but I thought if the timing was right and it was a way to share what the Lord's done with our program and outreach and encouragement, then I would do that. And so after winning a national championship, Don Yeager, who's I think 11-time bestseller, did Walter Payton, John Wooden's. I mean, you name it, he's done about every sports book out there. And he made it real simple and made it really easy. And I think it's written in a way that people will appreciate and understand. And, again, a lot of people in Baylor University and Waco and Central Texas are a part of it. And you're in the book, so that's a good – I'm sure that's a good chapter. But, again, it's really just a book to say what the Lord's done in our program.
Who's the target audience? Who do you hope to reach with the message of this book?
Honestly, as many people that read it, doesn't matter, sports fan, basketball fan. I mean, we want to win the game of life, and that is we want to be in heaven, and we want to take as many people as we can with us.
Amen to that. How has the culture of joy really lifted you up and lifted your team and your program up this season when you've had to go through so many significant